There is a pattern which 99% of men fail to see, and it costs them dearly. You see, men instinctively try to solve life's problems through discipline, logic, force, and repetition. And half of the time, that works swimmingly. But then on the other half of life, this approach fails miserably. Like, men will relentlessly approach women, scour dating apps for every single match, and all they have to show for it is like a measly 4 out of 10. Or guys will read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People cover to cover. They have an absolutely dog-eared copy of it. Yet still, no one laughs at their jokes. Or maybe it's in content creation. No matter how much effort you put into it, how many videos you upload, how many posts you make, the ball never seems to get rolling. And thus sometimes it feels like for men that some domains are simply rigged. It's like running uphill. You just can't make it to the peak of the mountain. But in actual fact, the game is not rigged. You are just using the wrong tool for the job. You see, life has 2 charges, and men only typically master one. And it's these men who can become great, but the men who master both, those men become legendary. So this video is going to follow a very simple structure. Firstly, what the 2 charges are. Secondly, how you can see these 2 charges in day-to-day life. And thirdly, how to actually respond to these 2 charges. After watching this video, your worldview is going to be permanently altered. So get ready for this one, gentlemen. So everything in this world is animated by one of 2 charges. One of which is the masculine charge and the other is the feminine charge. Now the masculine charge is things that are ordered, things that have structure, things that follow logic, things that can be attained by direct effort through discipline, through diligence, through perseverance, through repetition, through force. Now, to most men, their world ends there, but the most diligent of men see the second charge, and that is the feminine charge. And these are things that follow no logic, they have no patterns, they have no structure. They are chaos instilled into being. These things are unpredictable, these things do not follow logic, they follow emotion. Receptivity, attraction, these are all key themes with the feminine charge. These 2 charges are also known as logos and eros, logos being the masculine, eros being the feminine. And this can be seen in Genesis, where initially the feminine charge reigned. There was formless chaos until the masculine charge, God's word, interjected. Now those of you with autistic pattern recognition like myself may have also noticed the parallels between sex as well. First there is the feminine charge, then the masculine interjects, and together they form the dance of life. But I digress. Now it is not as simple as just men having a masculine charge and women having a feminine charge. Men are dominated by the masculine charge, but they still do have a feminine charge within them. Now Jung called this the anima. Conversely, women are dominated by the feminine charge, but they also have a small pocket of masculine charge to them known as the animus. Thus, since the dawn of time, life has been governed by the interplay of these 2 forces. Now that sounds all very poetic, but fundamentally it means nothing if we can't actually practically apply it to improve our life. And to do that, we need to be able to recognize these charges. And a great litmus test to know if you're dealing with something that has a predominantly masculine or feminine charge is by asking the question, how does this respond to force? Because something comprised of predominantly a masculine charge will respond well to it, like putting order to chaos, practicing a jab, or deadlifting hundreds of kilograms in the gym. These are all things that respond well to force. However, there is things in life which force ruins. Like for example, if I tried to force this plant to grow here, what would happen? Well, I'd probably overwater it and kill it. Or if I wanted to force a woman to be attracted to me, guess what would happen? She would be repulsed by me. Or if I try to force a joke to be funny, now we all know that one guy who does this and it's fucking annoying, and guess what it isn't? Funny. Or if I try to force myself to be creative, right? It doesn't happen. So you can see by asking yourself, how does this thing respond to force? You can separate things into predominantly masculine charge and predominantly feminine charge. But notice how I'm saying predominantly, because it is a ratio. And thus, if it is a ratio, there is some things that may respond well to force in some areas and not so well in others. And thus there is things that can be comprised of both feminine and masculine charges on a similar ratio. Thus, if something responds well to force sometimes, but other times not, then it is likely mixed. For example, building muscle. When you're in the gym, fantastic, apply all the force you want. But then you also need to recover, because if you worked out 24/7 and just used force all the time, you'd overtrain and actually struggle to put on muscle. Similarly, in business, you want to build your business, you want to apply consistent input, you want to stay disciplined, but you also need to leave space for trust to occur, for for money to compound. And it's the same thing with the algorithm as well. Say you're producing short form content, well, there is a masculine charge to that. You need consistent input. You need to follow a certain structure. You need a hook. You also can't force the numbers to go up. You need to leave space. You need to not just force it over a couple of weeks. You need to give it years. You need to let it grow. And the algorithm's a really interesting case study because fundamentally it is a code. It is a system. It is something with an inherent masculine charge to it. But it is a system that has grown so complex that even its creators don't understand it. And in its complexity, it actually embodies a feminine charge. It is a system so complex that it becomes unpredictable. But again, I digress. Now you can see, if you only understand the masculine charge to things, why life might feel rigged, why it might feel random. And if you want to see if things with a feminine charge are your weakness, you can take the Path of Knighthood assessment below. It is a comprehensive questionnaire that I have cultivated that will give you a score on every single aspect of your life. And you can see if it is the ones with a feminine charge that are slacking. On top of that, you can also diagnose the bottleneck in your life and what you need to do to become a better man. Now, it's completely free, takes 5 minutes, and it's the first link in the description. God bless. But it's all well and good being able to recognize the charge in day-to-day life. That means nothing if you don't know the tool to deal with that charge. So if it's something with a predominantly masculine charge, you use what I call the sword method. Now this is direct action, this is discipline, this is repetition, this is a confrontational approach. You want to think, how does the lion hunt? The lion sees its prey and fucking directly goes after it, wrestles it to the ground, and inserts its canines into its jugular. Maybe not go that far, but you see my point. Direct, aggressive, repetitive action. Or maybe a more PG version is, if you want to go make friends with the dog, you go over to the dog, you stroke the dog, you call it a good boy, you maybe give it a bit of protein and you're best mates for life. So you want to use the sword method when a direct action creates a direct result. But there's some things where a direct action simply doesn't work. And these are the things with a feminine charge. Now here you want to use what I call the garden method. And that is taking indirect action, creating the conditions for something to occur and giving it the space to manifest. There's an old proverb, if you want to attract beautiful butterflies, you don't go around chasing them, you build a picturesque garden and then the butterflies will come to you. And even if they don't, you still have a picturesque garden. With a feminine charge, you can actually embellish it by something called indirect action. Obviously, if you want bigger biceps, you do bicep curls. But say if you want to attract a beautiful wife, you don't go and pursue a beautiful wife. What you actually pursue is becoming the best version of yourself you can possibly be. And then in becoming that person, you create the space to attract that wife to you. You become worthy of her. It's the same as building the beautiful garden to attract the butterflies. Indirect action is part of the garden method. It is very important. And in converse to the lion hunting strategy, when it comes to things with predominantly a feminine charge, you want to hunt like a spider. You build a beautiful web and let the fly come to you. Don't be a dickhead like Walter White, fucking in his laboratory for 2 hours straight trying to catch a fly. Build the web instead. And now maybe you understand the metaphorical significance of that Breaking Bad episode. You're welcome. And conversely to making friends with a dog, with a cat it's different. If you try to chase after it, it would run away. But instead you create the conditions for the cat to come to you. You sit chilling on the sofa. If it wants to come, it can come. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You can't force that cat to greet you. But this is another crucial aspect, is that miracles cannot occur under observation. Like say you want a beautiful family of birds to live with you. Now you could go out chasing birds if you want, been there before, or putting birds in a cage. I'm not going to say been there before, but you could do that also. But guess what happens? If you put those birds in a cage, they have to stay in the cage. You have to force them to stay with you. But instead, if you built a beautiful birdhouse and left it outside, guess what? You might leave it, and then maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. You check it one time, and there's a beautiful family of birds. But like I said, it cannot occur under observation. If you were out there 24 hours a day, staring at that birdhouse, checking are they there, guess what? They're never going to come. You need to leave space. You need to let it be. Because this is one thing about the feminine charge, and this is why so many men struggle with it. Things that require discipline, structure, logic, and order are fantastic because you have control over them. A plus B equals C, Y equals Z. It all makes sense. And if you don't get the output you wanted, it's because you didn't put the input that are needed. But things with a feminine charge are different. They cannot be controlled. You cannot force it into being. You have to come to terms with the fact that you cannot control it. You have to flow with it. And it is very difficult to overcome that masculine insecurity of necessity of control. But if you want miracles to occur, it has to happen. So you create the conditions, then stop strangling the outcome. And of course, you don't need to use these two approaches in isolation. You can use them together as you see fit. Like I said, with building muscle, you train in the gym using the sword approach, and then you leave space for you to recover, get stronger, for protein synthesis to occur, and that's the garden approach. Like a good example of me using this in day-to-day life is, for the past 3 days, I tried to force myself to film this video, but I procrastinated it every time. But this morning, what I instead did was I created the conditions for it. I removed any access to cheap dopamine. I sat down at my desk. I embraced boredom. I didn't let myself go and scroll to quench my boredom. All I did was sit in boredom and have my script open there. But I didn't have to do the work if I didn't want to. I could just sit there. But eventually the pain of the boredom outweighed the pain of actually doing the work. And lo and behold, I just started working. I didn't force myself to do it. I didn't have to do it. Because I created the condition and waited without an expectation of outcome, I just started working. And daily routine is a great example of how to use both the sword and the garden method. Because obviously you need some degree of structure, otherwise you'd get nothing done. But a lot of men have the tendency to over-systemize their life, and they have no space in their day for anything to occur. Everything is the same routine, the same system. And then they wonder why they're miserable, because you need to leave space in your day, leave pockets in your calendar where anything could happen. Go on a walk without expectation. So many men over-systemize their life, they're given freedom and they create prison with it. So that's the key thing, for example, with something like a daily routine. You want to identify the point of diminishing returns in a system, and that's all the structure you want to your day, because space is vital. And like so many guys expect miracles to occur in their day, but they don't have any space in it. It's like they want to meet women, but where are you going to meet women? What, between work block 1 and work block 2? So don't be the guy that seeks freedom but accidentally imprisons yourself in a system. And from my interpretation, Christ also told this wisdom in the Gospel of John. Now Christ resurrected, but he had not yet appeared to the disciples, and the disciples had spent all day fishing trying to force fish out of the ocean, yet they didn't catch a single thing until Christ came along. And what did Christ say? Cast the net on the right hand side of the ship and ye shall find. And let's break that down. Cast the net on the right hand side of the ship. What is a ship but a vessel? And what is the apotheosis of all vessels? It is the brain, the vessel of conscience. And what is on the right hand side of the brain? That is the intuitive side of the brain, the feminine side of the brain. And what else does Christ say? He says cast the net. What is a net? It is like a spider web, right? That is a strategy that is aligned with the garden method. So when Christ says cast the net on the right hand side of the ship and ye shall find, now he is speaking to his disciples, his men. So what is he saying there? He is saying, men, although it is difficult for you, although it is out of your comfort zone, you need to explore your intuitive side. You need to explore the feminine side of your brain. You need to explore things with a feminine charge and master them. And that is where you will find true wisdom, true connection to God. And of course, the disciples catch so many large fish. When they haul up the net, they think it's going to break, but it still doesn't break. And it's a miracle that occurred because they left space for it. So you have 3 options really. You can be the peasant who lacks the discipline to succeed in the masculine charge and lacks the patience to succeed in the feminine charge. Or you can be the squire. The squire has the discipline, so he sees some success in the masculine charge. However, he still doesn't have the patience for the success in the feminine charge. Or you can be the knight. The knight has the discipline, he has the patience, he sees success in both realms. He identifies what is a feminine charge and what is a masculine charge, and he chooses the right tool for the job, whether it's the sword, whether it's the garden. Because there is an old saying which goes, you can either be a warrior in a garden or a gardener in a war. But I disagree, because there's nothing stopping you from becoming the warrior gardener. Because if you master these 2 forces, you will master life itself. Take the free path of knighthood assessment below, gentlemen. God bless, and keep trying.